You are born into the most famous family on earth and told immediately that you will never be the most important person in it. That person is your mother. She is 25 years old when she becomes queen, 3 years after you are born. And from that moment forward, the most powerful woman in Britain is also the woman who is too busy to tuck you in at night. You are a sensitive child in a family that does not know what to do with sensitive children. Your father finds it baffling. Your mother loves you, but love in this family is expressed in duty and propriety, in the maintenance of an institution, rather than in warmth or proximity. You write home from boarding school. The letters describe a life that sounds less like education and more like supervised misery. You call the place Colditz and Kilts. Boys pull your ears on the rugby field. Nobody is punished because punishing them would mean acknowledging that the heir to the throne is being targeted and that acknowledgement is not available. You don't punch back. You were raised not to punch back. Welcome to your life. The whole world is watching and none of them can help you. The boy nobody asked. You are created Prince of Wales at the age of 9, not consulted. Created. A title attached to a child the way a luggage tag is attached to a bag, identifying the destination before the journey has begun. You will carry this title for 64 years. Longer than any Prince of Wales in history, longer than most human lives. Cambridge is the first place that feels like yours. You study archaeology, then history. You act in student productions. You play the cello. You are good at these things, and nobody outside the theater or the practice room is particularly interested in whether you are good at these things because your purpose has already been decided. The degree is a formality. The institution needs an heir who can perform the functions of an heir. That is what you are being prepared for. What you actually want from your own life is, strictly speaking, irrelevant. Your father sends you to Gordonstoun because your father went to Gordonstoun, and because your father believes that difficulty is character building and that a boy who can handle a Scottish winter in shorts can handle anything. You handle it. You do not enjoy it. You will handle many things across the next 77 years that you do not enjoy because the institution requires it and because you were raised to understand that the institution comes before the individual, and the individual in this case is you. You are made head boy in your final year at Gordonstoun. The same boys who spent 3 years making your life uncomfortable are now technically your subordinates. This is your first lesson in how power actually works and how little it resolves. Camilla. You meet her at a polo match in 1971. You are 22, she is 23. She has a sense of humor that gets through every layer of your formality. She is direct and warm, and you are immediately, completely drawn to her. Your great uncle, the family's fixer, has a framework for what a suitable royal bride looks like. Camilla does not fit it. Her ancestry is complicated. Her grandmother was a mistress of a previous king. She is not considered appropriate. The family's unspoken guidance is noted. You join the Royal Navy. This is mandatory. You are away. She waits for a while and then she doesn't wait anymore and she marries someone else, a cavalry officer, a friend of yours. You attend the wedding. You will spend the next 30 years watching the woman you should have been with live a life adjacent to yours, at parties, at events, at the polo. You will have her voice in your ear through a telephone in the late 1980s while someone is recording the call, and in 1993 that recording will be published and the entire country will hear what was said between you. And she will become known by a name that is designed to humiliate, and you will not be able to defend her publicly, because defending her publicly requires admitting to everything, and everything is not available to be admitted to yet. The institution cannot absorb it yet. This is the cost. This is always the cost. The institution takes the thing you want and places it slightly out of reach and tells you to be patient, and in the meantime asks you to do your duty. Diana. You are introduced to her when she is 16 and you are 29. She is dating her older sister at the time. She is described, in your own later recollection, as jolly and full of life. You do not fall in love with her. You like her. The distinction matters. Your father sends you a message. The press speculation around your personal life is damaging. A decision needs to be made. You interpret this as an instruction. You propose. She says yes. During the engagement interview on live television, they ask you both if you are in love. She says, of course. You say whatever in love means. You are live on every channel in the country. The nation files that sentence away. The wedding is watched by 750 million people. The dress has a train 25 feet long. You are 32 years old and you are marrying a woman you are not in love with in front of the largest television audience in history, in a cathedral, in a ceremony that is being sold to the world as a fairy tale. The marriage falls apart fast and publicly and catastrophically. Not because either of you is a monster, because you were not suited and you both knew it and you both tried and neither of you was equipped for what the trying cost. She finds a biographer. She tells him everything. The book comes out in 1992. Your phone call with the other woman comes out in 1993. The separation is announced in the House of Commons by the Prime Minister as though it were a matter of national policy, which in this family it essentially is. The divorce is finalized in August 1996. 13 months later, you are at Balmoral, Scotland, in the early hours of a Sunday morning in late August, and you have to go to the rooms where two boys are sleeping and tell them something that will change them in ways neither of you can yet see. You then fly to Paris to bring their mother home. You do this because it is the right thing to do. You also face the specific cruelty of doing a genuinely decent thing at the exact moment when nobody is disposed to see it as decent. The family stays in Scotland. The flag over Buckingham Palace does not fly at half-mast. The people outside the palace are leaving flowers and some of them are angry and the anger has somewhere to land. You understand why. You cannot say so publicly. The waiting. The Prince of Wales is a job description without a job. The role is to be ready for an accession that could come tomorrow or in 30 years and cannot be rushed or hurried or anticipated out loud, because anticipating it out loud means imagining the death of your own mother in public, and that is not something the institution allows. You fill the waiting with work. The Prince's Trust, which you founded in 1976 with the severance pay from your naval service, grows into one of the largest youth charities in the United Kingdom. It will help over 1 million young people before you become king. You campaign on architecture, on the environment, on organic farming, on traditional craftsmanship. You write letters to government ministers, a lot of letters, decades of letters, on everything from hospital design to the teaching of Latin. Some of them are leaked. The newspapers call you interfering. You call it doing something useful with a platform that is otherwise purely ceremonial. You marry the woman you should have married 30 years ago in a quiet civil ceremony in a Windsor Guildhall in April 2005. Your mother and father do not attend the civil ceremony. They come to the blessing. This is the institution making its position clear while technically giving its approval. You are 56 years old when you marry the woman you have loved since you were 22. You drive away from the Guildhall in an Aston Martin with a number plate that says Prince. She is in the passenger seat. For a few minutes, it looks almost ordinary. The Queen. On the 8th of September 2022, a statement is released from Balmoral. The nation understands what it means before anyone says the words explicitly. You are in Wales when it happens. You fly north. By the time you arrive, she is gone. She reigned for 70 years. She was queen for almost your entire life, the longest reign in British history, the longest principalship in British history. And now the waiting is over and it ended the way all waiting ends, not as a relief or a triumph, but as a loss, simply and quietly, the way the tide goes out. You are 73 years old. You are king. The coronation is on the 6th of May, 2023, Westminster Abbey. The oldest coronation ceremony in the world, slightly abbreviated, slightly modernized, but fundamentally unchanged for 1,000 years. The crown is placed on your head. You have been looking at that crown your entire life. It belonged to your grandfather and your great-grandfather and a line of monarchs going back centuries. Your son kneels before you and pledges his allegiance. Your other son is not there. He is in California. The relationship between you is the most written about estrangement in the world. Two people who love each other in a situation that has become impossible for everyone, most of all for them. The diagnosis, January 2024. You go into hospital for a routine procedure, a benign enlarged prostate, common, manageable. While they are examining you for one thing, they find another thing. A form of cancer. The type is not disclosed. It is not prostate cancer. That is all that is said publicly. You make the decision to disclose the diagnosis. This is not what British monarchs do. British monarchs have historically treated their health as institutional information rather than personal information, shared only when the concealment becomes impossible. You decide to tell people because you believe that your telling people will cause other people to get checked. Cancer Research UK records a 33% increase in website visits in the weeks following your announcement. 9 million people in the United Kingdom are not up to date with cancer screenings. You say that number out loud every chance you get. You suspend public duties for 2 months. You do not stop working. The state papers arrive every day. The red boxes, the briefings, the constitutional machinery keeps running because it has to. You treat chemotherapy as a scheduling constraint rather than an identity, and you come back into public life when the doctors clear you and you go to the cancer treatment center at University College Hospital, and you sit with the patients who are where you were and you tell them what you told the cameras. It always comes as a bit of a shock, doesn't it, when they tell you? In December 2025, you record a message for a cancer charity broadcast. You tell the country that your treatment is being scaled back, that you responded exceptionally well. That early diagnosis is the key that transforms treatment journeys. You do not say the word remission because the palace's oncology advisors believe that framing your specific condition helps only you, while framing the broader issue helps millions. You have been doing this your entire life, subordinating the personal to the institutional. This time you actually believe in the trade. Washington, the 27th of April 2026. You land in the United States as king for the first time. The last British monarch to address a joint session of Congress was your mother in 1991. Before her, the only other was your great-great-grandmother Victoria, though in her era they called it something different and the proceedings were considerably less amplified. The visit is freighted with complication. The relationship between the two countries is at an unusual low. The American president has been openly critical of the British Prime Minister. There are disagreements about Iran, about NATO, about trade. You are here as the one figure who stands above all of that friction and can address it without being implicated in it. That is the function of a constitutional monarchy at moments like this. The politician says what the politics require. The monarch says what the history requires. You have been preparing for this your entire life. You speak to Congress in the chamber where the most powerful democratic legislature in the world meets. You reference your mother's visit in 1957. You are careful and warm and measured, and you allow yourself exactly 2 jokes. One about the current president's controversial renovation of the East Wing ballroom. One that draws a laugh from the assembled senators and representatives and is immediately clipped and circulated. The room is full of the most powerful people in the most powerful country on earth, and they are listening to you with a quality of attention that is not available to politicians because politicians are always suspected of wanting something. You are not suspected of wanting anything. That is the peculiar authority of a crown. Before the state dinner, you meet with the technology leaders of the world, the founder of Amazon, the chief executive of Apple, the founder of the graphics chip company whose processors are currently running most of the artificial intelligence systems on Earth. You discuss AI guardrails with the man who built the chips that power them. You ask the Amazon founder about the rainforest. You compare investors who passed on the company to the publishers who passed on the children's books about a boy wizard. The room finds this charming. You find it genuinely interesting because environmental preservation has been the cause you have been most consistently and most publicly committed to for half a century, before it was fashionable, before the science was undeniable, before anyone with a platform wanted to be associated with it. The state dinner is in the White House East Room. The guest list runs from Supreme Court justices to former sports team owners to a Northern Irish golfer who has just won 2 consecutive major championships. You are seated next to the most powerful man in the world, with whom your country's government is currently in a difficult diplomatic moment. You are pleasant and engaged, and you do not represent the government's position because you constitutionally cannot, and you do not need to, because your position is something older and more durable than any government. You were born into the most famous family on earth in 1948. You were an heir before you could walk. You were bullied in a castle in kilts. You loved a woman you couldn't have. You married a woman you shouldn't have. You lost her. You found the first woman again. You waited 73 years. You buried your mother. You became king. You got cancer. You kept working. You flew to Washington and you made a joke about a ballroom renovation and the whole room laughed, and that laugh was diplomatic currency worth more than a dozen summit communiques, and you knew it when you delivered it. You are 77 years old. You are still here. The institution required it. But somewhere in the machinery of duty and obligation and the long grinding preparation of a life spent waiting, you built something real. The charities, the forests you fought for, the letters you wrote, the patients you sat with, the marriages, both of them in their different ways. You are the king. You have always known you would be the king. What nobody told you, what nobody could tell you because they didn't know, is that the waiting would be the thing that made you ready.